The end of a great read is here. Jacob is on his deathbed, but the drama's not over yet. Welcome back to the Bible in 365 streams. This is day 29, and we're on Genesis 48 through 50. 48, Jacob is on his deathbed, and he calls for Joseph and his two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. Surprisingly, Jacob adopts his grandsons. This gives them status as his own sons, effectively increasing Joseph's inheritance, which is usually reserved for the firstborn. Wait, what? Jacob just adopted his own grandkids? Not only that, but he gave the younger one a bigger blessing. That's right. When Jacob blesses these guys, he deliberately puts his right hand on Ephraim and his left hand on Manasseh. The right hand is typically used for the primary blessing. At this time, Jacob is going blind, so Joseph tries to correct him, but Jacob insists that he knows what he's doing, saying that the younger will be the greater. And this really highlights a pattern, because God chooses the lesser to fulfill his promises. Incoming prophecy, Jacob predicts a lot of stuff on his deathbed about his sons, especially Judah. Something about a scepter and a lion? Jacob gathers all 12 of his sons to bless them and to prophesy their futures. They're varying in degree, but the standout is Judah. Jacob declares that the scepter will not depart from Judah, and that a ruler will come from his line. Two people that this is pointing to: King David, Jesus. And this can also remind us that God's plan is always moving forward, even through imperfect people like you and me. After everything, Jacob dies and is buried with the VIP treatment, but Joseph's brothers are still worried that Joseph might retaliate after Jacob's death. His brothers end up begging him for forgiveness and offer themselves as his servants. Joseph's response to his brothers is one of the most powerful moments in the entire Bible, and he drops a truth bomb that changes everything. Joseph starts to cry, and he reassures them, and he delivers this line. He says, "As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring about that many people would be kept alive as they are today." Joseph lived a God-dependent life, recognizing that God was sovereign over all of the adversity that he had faced, and used it for a greater purpose. The book of Genesis ends with Joseph's death, but before he dies at 110 years old, he makes the Israelites promise to carry his bones with them into the Promised Land. This is an amazing act of faith, and it shows that he believed God's promise to the people who came before him, even though the promise had been long delayed. That's a wrap on Genesis. It ends with Joseph in a coffin in Egypt instead of in the Promised Land. Make sure you stay tuned in for Day 30 and Exodus as we see God's people becoming a nation and a brand new rescue story begins. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow so you don't miss it. God bless you. Jesus loves you.